My name's John Skippy Limcool. Welcome to a live stream. It's live stream time. Yay! This live stream. Hey, Shane. Shane's number one. Oh my gosh. So I'm just jamming. We're gonna play with this multi later on and build a whole song. Because it's got a lot of expressivity. This is part of Beautifully Broken, a new library that is available at my website, which, by the way, is having its final day of a really big NAMM. It's NAMM, but it's post-NAMM at this point because NAMM is over. Welcome, Philip. Welcome, Harold. Welcome, Juno, Marcel, Gaxa, Excel Driver, Big E. Yes, I survived NAMM and KISS. We'll get to that in a minute. That was fun. But Beautifully Broken is just a wonderful library for those of you that like all the kind of moody synthy. Oh, I need my mod wheel to do more than that. So let's go over here and have ModMate take all of these and assign them to... Oh, let's see. This is the... Let's go to reset. Reset. So it's 74. Oh, I need to go 1. I should save this as a default 1, 2. These are the controller numbers that we are using inside of Omnisphere. 1, 2, 4, and 67. And then I'm going to save it so that they are assigned to the mod wheel. So that just by moving the mod wheel, I am now going to be able to and I can save this as a setting in my whatever your DAW is. Save as all on mod wheel. And so if I'm using my Korg M3, which I've talked about in the video, which I can't change the parameters for it. If I take this down, this is set so that these sliders, when it's on this MIDI page, it's sending CCs, but it's not correlating at all with what you see. But if I go over here and I call up this preset that I've created for it, boom, now it's working because I have reassigned the inputs to these 4. And it works. It's just wonderful how that happens. We like that. So I can go back here. I could say, no, let's reset that back to the mod, just the standard way, and turn these off and check each lane to its own lane. And now it's working as expected. Right? So that's why we made this little free utility, because so many of you don't have hardware, or, you know, there's times where you want to have it all on the mod. It's really cool to call this up and have it so the mod wheel just does everything like it used to in all the other libraries that we've released. So ModMate lets you get back to that state if you want. So that's why it is available. It's a free plugin. So if you go to the website, if you go to the home page and then you go to software right here, when you click that, that will show you. We got some work to do to my website because it's expanding. All sorts of new things are going to be adding to this over the next year or so. There's a lot of stuff in the works. Anyway, welcome. My name's John Skippy Limcool. I'm going to be doing a little mini presentation of what happened at NAMM, and I have to warn you, this will be the most unproduct-oriented NAMM presentation you will see by anybody on YouTube, because I could care less in some respects about the gear. It's every year after 30 of them, it's the same. New stuff, cool, new stuff. Okay, what does it do this time that's different than last year? You know, I'm more about the relationships that I've developed and friendships, and so I'm going to share a little bit of that and we'll talk about some of the gear because there was some cool stuff for sure that was shown, but I didn't take pictures and like sit and watch the demos and record it and try to make videos. Other guys on YouTube do all that kind of stuff. So that's, I'm there more just to say hi to my friends and see what's going on and, you know, get ideas for future things I want to do. And that's kind of where I'm at. So this is not going to be like, this was my coolest hardware, this is my coolest plug-in, this is my coolest, you know, I don't care in some respects. So I just want to give you the warning ahead of time. If you're expecting like, what is Skippy's favorite new synth? I mean, I looked at a lot of them and there's a lot of cool stuff out there, but that isn't why I go. I don't go to the NAMM show for that per se. I've been doing this for 30 years. I worked at 18 years straight. This year we actually drove down. My girlfriend Melanie's got family. We stayed with family along the way, which was nice. Stuff's going on, so we decided to drive, and it was really fun. Oh, you guys are very kind. Here, let me see here. So let's start the, well, the big thing that I did stick around for was this, and let's start with this. There is a new version of Omnisphere in the works, and it's really cool. The arpeggiator is getting a massive update. It's got some really cool features added to it. There's also the other part of it is because Eric, when he made the D50 with Roland, they used his samples, and he made the patches. And so he's able to do anything he wants with those since he owns those. Because when we're working with companies and we provide samples for them to use, they're paying licensing to use our samples. They still belong to us unless we've sold them outright. And Eric was very smart to not give away the samples. So another part of the update to Omnisphere 2.6 that's coming is you're basically getting a lot of a D50 in it. In fact, as you will see in this video, it's completely set up to where there's now over 40, I think 46 different hardware synthesizers that can be worked with. And one of them being the PG-1000 that comes with the D50. And it's one of these cases where you can sit and program Omnisphere using just the PG-1000, which is pretty insane. So let me do this. Let me get to where it's just the desktop like this. And I'm going to have myself disappear so you can see this. And here comes it's about a 7-minute demo. Here we go. 2.6. So he's showing the granular on Roland sample, on the D50 samples. Nice. For those that want to granularize their D50, right?
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And you could even, use the structures, and the structures will bring in the ring mods or the granular.
Right here, he's using the PG-1000 editor to modify Omnisphere.
So yeah, it's like fully supported PG-1000.
Wow.
And here's some of the old flute stuff, kind of redone.
He's reprogrammed it some extra stuff because Omnisphere can go. In the D50, the sample layer didn't have any filtering. That's why it was really bright and kind of, it was in your face in a cool way. But now you can add filtering. He's got an LFO doing vibrato to the samples. Big digi-harp. Nice. Where's Enya? Beautiful.
But then you can also do like things with just this. I made this with the PG-1000, yeah, but I'm using only Omnisphere sources. Not good. kind of thing, but all with new stuff.
Right.
So yeah, so that's the
2.6.
Yeah, and actually while you're filming, I'll show you one of the cool things about the D50.
Okay.
Check this out.
If you turn it off, you hold down 0 and increment.
Yeah.
It says, there you go.
So it says this when you power on a D50 with the increment and the other button held down. Thanks to Eric and Adrian.
Thanks to Eric and Adrian. Shit, I can do that on a D50.
When you hold down 0 and enter?
0 and increments.
Increment.
Yeah.
So if you have a D50, go over and hold down 0 and increment and turn it on, and you'll get there thanks to Eric.
There you go.
So let me show you the new arpeggiator. So we have a whole new arpeggiator. Yeah, super shiny. You'll love it. So let's take.
Oh, sorry about that. You're on the beach.
That video, that's good.
If you like it, I mean, yeah, if you want to. So,
No, I'll just watch it.
Yeah. So we've got a big arpeggiator up here. So what we can do, we now have step modifiers on each of the steps, So it takes the what we were doing with transposition a lot further.
Right.
So you can now change each of the steps of it. You can have transposition. You can slide to notes legato, TV303 style.
By the way, here's what it looks like. I took a picture of the interface of the D50, or of the D50. You now have a lot more options for modes. This is just one of the simpler ones, but there's color coding for the different things. And as you can see, there's a capture button down here. A lot of us have asked for the ability for this to be like per layer, right? To have A, B, C, D each do arpeggiator stuff. It will never happen because it is fully MIDI performance what's happening, and now it can be captured, and you click here and you drag to any sequencer, and it will make a MIDI file with all the MIDI data needed to recreate what you hear the arpeggiator doing. So when you're hearing these things in the arpeggiator, be aware that what it is doing is something that you can go in and you can actually push a button to get it into your sequencer so that you can play it from your sequencer. So it's really cool that that is how it's working now. So here we go back to the demo.
And you can do chords and all different kinds of chord voices. So it's the first arpeggiator that has like chord inversions, which is a lot more musical than octaves. Chords. So let me show you like chords. Yeah. So this is like. And you have one-shot mode too. So you can use it for effects and like glissandos and stuff like that. Yeah, so I have, or you can also go backwards. So you can do like, well, it sounds a lot fresher, you know, because like you're so used to all the traditional art patterns.
So he's talking about inversion. So when you play chords, instead of just doing octaves, it takes the lower E and will transpose it up to the upper E instead of it always just being the whole thing in octaves. So it can do some very smart things as far as how it's working with the chords. So if that is kind of a new thing that arpeggiators, for the most part, don't do. That's a new feature.
There's also all kinds of new patterns like join, spread, stairs. It's like a lot of different patterns that we have. And then you can do all kinds of sequences and stuff with it.
So that pitchy stuff is MIDI data.
I love the GUI.
pattern kind of thing. Now he's going to change the sound. Some cool stuff. Do the MIDI drops in the pitch bend? By the way, here is the Andromeda, and there's a Nord product over here. They are all supported. They've captured the waveforms for these different synthesizers, so those will be included. When you plug it into these different synthesizers, the personality it really does change to sound a lot more like that thin in-your-face Nord kind of thing, or the fat kind of warm Andromeda kind of a vibe. See right there?
Drag to Logic or whatever.
So he captured that. Once it's into the buffer, it's just like in Omnisphere, or actually in Stylus RMX, where you can like take that and just drag it to your sequencer, and now you have it.
And then it captured everything you just heard as notes and pitch bend information, so you can edit it in your sequencer, and you can play any of the synth with it, including analog synths or whatever. So yeah, so it's a big. We haven't really updated our pitch ender since it came out. Yeah.
Well, you did add some speed.
Yeah, a couple of the speed and the transposition, but this is like the first really big one.
So it was really fun to see these new improvements coming, enhancements. I shouldn't say I mean, it's great as it is, but there's definitely some more things coming for Omnisphere in 2.6 that will open up all sorts of possibilities of things we can try doing and playing with. It's really exciting. So let's see here. Let me get all this stuff back in place. I was going to show some more photos. Let's keep going on the tour. So let me lock this. This is cool. One thing you can do in Logic is if you hit lock, you can mess things up. And when I hit 1 again, it will reset everything back to the way it was. If it's not locked, then it's just going to remember that now wherever I move those things, that's now 1. But since I locked it, when I hit 1, it will call it back to a saved preset, which is a great time saver at times, right? So we have photos to show. I'll give you some photo tour here. So to start with, here we are, the Motley Crew. So this is Casey, also known as Exosun. He has worked on some of the libraries in the past. He's working on libraries for the future. Kayla is a singer. They are in a band out of Florida. They actually played at the Mock booth on Saturday. Here's my lovely girlfriend, Melanie. She came around, came with me. We drove down, took pictures. It was awesome to go through the trip with her. And myself looking like myself. There's the interface for Omnisphere, which is really cool. Actually, let's do this. Let's open all of these up. You might see something you're not supposed to see until the end here. We'll see. Yeah. So here we are getting the tour of all the cool stuff we can do. Let's see. How can I guess I could go like that. So just a little bit of a space to arrow down. Eric's showing us how things are going. Playing. One thing also, let me see if one of these shows. No, but one cool feature, if you happen to be lucky enough to own a Juno 106, it's the only synth that does this. But you can actually edit on the Juno 106 and save it, and it saves it to the memory of the Juno 106 that can be sent via SysX back to to Omnisphere, which is crazy. None of the other synths save it and can transfer it, but for some reason, he edited a patch, got all this crazy stuff going on, saved it, made another patch, saved it, and could switch between the two by using just the interface of a Juno 106. It was pretty interesting. You could do that. So then that was Thursday. Friday night is the Old Men of MIDI dinner. I've been going for 5 or 6 years. And it's just people that have been around since before MIDI, that are friends that have gone through a lot. I've actually worked, Jordan and myself and Jerry and Jack are all people that have worked together at the same time. Well, not at the same time, I don't think, but we all worked for Korg at one point or another. Jordan worked with us during the Wave Station part of that was when his up and coming, breaking out of being a classical artist, getting into performance. That's before he joined Dream Theater, all of that. We toured together, me playing drums, him playing the Wave Station with John Bowen, who also worked at Korg R&D, did the voicing on the Prophet 5. Dave Smith, he is the godfather of MIDI. He and the president of Roland worked together to create the MIDI spec in its early days. Christian Matriano has worked with Jordan at Kurzweil, and Kristen has been with Kurzweil for many, many years. Eric Persing, we know Eric Persing, of course. Gary Yelton has been editor and an article writer for Keyboard Magazine, Electronic Musician Magazine. Jerry Kowarski is a dear friend. I knew Jerry when I worked at a music store in Seattle, Washington, and he was with Casio. And I actually entered an FZ1 sampling and sequencing competition and won. So we've been aware and friends. Then he worked for in Sonic for many years, and then he worked for Korg for many years. He now lives in Maui. He works on consulting bases with companies like Casio and so forth. Mark Vail has written kind of like the definitive synthesis book on different synthesizers. He worked for many years at Keyboard Magazine. And Jack Hotop is my dear brother from another mother. He and I have worked on the T-Series, O1W series, Triton, Trinity, M3, Wave Station AD, Wave Station SR, Kronos 2, many synths over the last 30 years. He was at my job interview in New York when I took a red-eye flight from Seattle and showed the M1 to get the job at Korg as product specialist many years ago. So, my gosh, truly a dear brother. And I don't know who this person is, but somehow they let him in. So, yeah. Do you recommend Serum for composing ambient? It's not my first choice for ambient. Serum is more the in-your-face. It's the CPU heavy, which is why I wouldn't say it's my choice, my go-to. I would say Omnisphere or Spire is really great for the ambient kind of synth sounds, and it's far more CPU efficient. There's so many synths that do really nice things, but Spire is really great. Synth 1 has been a go-to for many years. FM8 and Massive are great for that as well. This is one of my favorite little swag pieces of gear I got during the show. This is a pocket protector that was given to me by Michelle Moog, Bob Moog's daughter, for the Moog Foundation, which is a really great organization. It looks like they're going to have the Bob Moog Museum built. Looks like that's going to be actually happening, which is really exciting. On Friday, I was honored to be on a sound panel talking along with Don Lewis, Jack Hotop, Kurt Otter, who's done many sample libraries. If you buy a Kronos, I'll show you in a minute a really inspiring performance from Jordan Rudis. A bunch of his samples from sessions he did of classical instruments are now included in a Kronos 2 purchase. And Christian Matriano from the Kurzweil family and sound design. And we talked about the art of sound design, what inspires us. It was a fun panel. This is the 5 of us. So Jack Hotop, Christian Matriano, which you saw at the dinner. Don Lewis is just such an inspiring cat. This guy did live MIDI performances with organ, B3, multi-layered, and pedals and synthesizers for years. Search on YouTube for some live performances from Don Lewis if you want to have your mind blown. Oscar Cabrillo is the president, like the organizer of the Sound Synthesis Club that I'm a part of. Eduardo Tarliate, I never say his name right. He lives, I believe, in Spain. He makes all these incredible, the voices of era and so forth for Time and Space. He's a sound designer, sample editor, just genius guy, a wonderful person, and myself. So it was really fun to share what our inspirations are and stuff like that. Hey, Steve, welcome. This is one of the other highlights of the show. This is the sequential booth. And the funny story goes, Dave Smith wasn't planning to present at the NAMM show this year. They had the Prophet XL and the Prophet X, which have tons of samples and analog synthesis combined, and they actually won like the Hardware Synth of the Year award from the Tech Awards, but they weren't going to show. And then this little spot became available, and it's actually the ticket booth. You can see right here, these little open areas are where you can apply and buy tickets if you're coming in for like some live show or something like that. So they have that. They had a Prophet XL, a Prophet X in there to play. And the highlight isn't playing with the Prophet X and the XL. The highlight is getting the year's shot glass. Because each year Dave Smith brings the most wonderful smooth tequila. And it's nice to have a shot of tequila with Dave Smith in the morning before you start the NAMM show. So here we are having our shot before the show starts on Friday, I believe. And actually Melanie also took a shot, and so we actually have two different. This one's cool because I don't know if you can see it, but it actually, if you put it says sequential on both sides, but if you hold it up the right place, it actually makes an X of the two sequential names. So this is like probably number 10 and 11 or 8 and 9, something like that, shot glasses from Dave Smith I have received over the years from coming by and having a little shot of just the smoothest tequila on the planet. Jordan Rudas, and we all know Diego Stacco, many of the samples, the bark-based cello, the really cool instruments. He was there. We got to see Jordan perform. I'm going to play this video in a minute. This is Jordan performing on one of the new Korg synthesizers, actually on the piano kind of thing. He was playing his Bach to Rock. He did this world tour this last year. I got to see him here in Portland, where he plays both from classical to Dream Theater pieces and so forth live. And it's really, really inspiring to watch. But what he did that was really cool. Let's see here. Oh, wait, we'll get to that in a minute. That was last night. Let's see here. Get back to Logic. So check this out. This is just mind-blowing. So Melanie was sitting next to Kurt, and Jordan was playing these samples that Kurt had created. And Jordan is improvising, meaning he doesn't know what he's going to play. He's just going to jam to this stuff. And so here he is playing live. Let me make sure I get this so it looks full screen. This is just mind-blowing. This is off the top of this dude's head, playing samples that he got to play the day before for a minute, okay? So, just crazy. Here we go. So here's Kurt, and Kurt is just, at this point, hearing the sounds that he has labored on come to life like this has to be just such a great, great feeling. But listen to what Jordan does. And this is improvised. This is not, he has nothing scripted, and you can't see his hands at some point, so. Again, if you're fortunate enough to buy a Korg Kronos 2, these samples you're hearing now are included. And there's a very happy Kurt looking at me going, yeah, he's from German, got the wonderful German, yeah, these are my babies. I think he's using Karma at this point. The cello. On a technical note, The cello is using wave sequencing, 8 layers that are switching from one layer to the next so that it's doing like round robin because each one is a different set of samples. So it's a rather intense thing that's going on. By the way, this is Kevin Schrader right here with I got to meet him for some of the show. He has done a lot of the amazing libraries for Dune 3. He's a wonderful person. Doesn't know a lot of English, but we gave some high fives and took pictures of each other, and it was really great to meet him and hang out a little. Mind-blowing.
Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks to Korg. Thanks to Kurt for the inspiration. Thanks to all of you, and I will see you on the road.
Yeah, that was just really amazing. And so Dream Theater has a new album that's done. He used some plug-in guru sounds on it, which is really cool. He also has a solo album coming out which uses even more plug-in guru sounds because he said for a lot of the Dream Theater stuff, you know, it's kind of like organ, progressive, rocky kind of things, whereas on his solo albums, a lot more experimental musically with what's going on. So it's really exciting I can't wait to hear where things go there. So here we are. Laurent showed up on Friday. So this is Saturday morning. So Airwave got to see this show and work around and see it. That night, Melanie and I went and we did a drive through LA, and we went to the observatory, the Griffith Park Observatory. So this is a photo actually outside of the Griffith Park Observatory because it was way packed, and we just drove down the road and found a really cool overlook. So yes, Airwave. It's great. And so we had it's great. On the drive back, we stopped at Shasta Lake, and this is a long exposure that we took. And then last night, this is me. We got an opportunity to dress up with Melanie, and then this is Cody, Melanie's daughter, and Cody's boyfriend, Ferg. And we went and saw Kiss live last night here in Portland. They're on their end of the road tour. It's their final tour. They've been doing this for over 40 years, I guess. And so they are about to come to the end. Here's a really cool shot. I love this one too. Here's Gene. I mean, every time the camera was on Gene Simmons, his tongue is out. He's doing the thing. Bring earplugs. There's explosions if you get a chance to see this tour. It's really, really great. But there's massive concussions from the explosions throughout the whole show. And at the end, there's like this whole thing lights up and fire's spinning around. It's just insane. So just a little side note, we were rocking out last night to Kiss after everything else. So good times, good times. So it was a great show. I was just thrilled to get to go. On the hardware part, there's Radical Designs had a really cool synth they were showing that they actually showed a year ago. The Alpha Sep A, I believe. Behringer surprised everybody with a new little 199 synth. Arturia surprised everybody with an amazing little 299 synth that I'm really excited about. It's called the Micro Freak. And watch a video on YouTube if you want to see about it. It has membranes for keys, which is cool because you can do polyphonic, you can do pressure on different notes, and because they're each separate like circuit boards, it's able to do pressure on separate sounds. It's using one of the modular companies that I love, Mutable. They have a really cool digital oscillator, and you can spin through all of these forms of synthesis. This has that type of thing built into it, so it can do all sorts of different types of synthesis. Watch a video on it. It's really, really exciting. Korg had a really cool micro little, one of their Volcas that's modular, was great. The new mini log, I think it's called, something like that, that came out was really cool. We played with the Kira a little bit that Waldorf is working on. It sounds really promising. It's kind of digital because it's wavetable based. There's just a certain sound wavetable synths give you, you know. But that was really promising. There's great advances from lots of speaker companies that I checked out, and you know, all sorts of boring. That there's other guys doing that. Go to like the Sonic State and just go through. There's like 40, 50 videos on the NAMM show if you want to see things in action with demos, because that's I'm not into that micro level of what the NAMM show. As you can see, the NAMM show is kind of a different experience for me because of the years and the friends. It's great to just see a reunion. We give each other hugs. You're okay. You're healthy. Awesome. So good to see you. See you next year. And talk about things that are going on. And, you know, it's great for that kind of camaraderie and spirit and so forth. So it's a great show. Now we hit 1 and boop, boop. There we go. So I was going to show you a new synth. I got a note yesterday from one of my friends who's also in the industry about this synth, and he sent me an NFR so I could check it out, and it's really interesting, so I wanted to share it with you so you're aware of it. I'm going to pop a little show MIDI on here so you can see what I'm going to be playing because it doesn't have a keyboard in the interface. This is Bolt. Bolt, I think, comes a little bit from the Razor family in the fact that it's a harmonic synthesizer. It does things very differently. It doesn't, as you can see, you don't see a filter anywhere on it. You see envelopes for the modulation EG. Each of these oscillators has a volume EG, as you can see. It's 2 oscillators. Here's your volume controls for each of the 2 oscillators. I keep wanting to spin this and have it like radically change the sound, and it's not. It's the volume. So I keep going, oops, sorry about that. But it can do some really interesting sounds. Let me show you first some of the sounds, and then we'll dive into it, and I will dissect it a little bit. Let me make sure that my screen is showing this right. One nice thing, this appears to be vector-based or something because you can just click right here and resize it, which is great. So let me resize this to where it's a grandiose size to fit here and get this to be like that. I'm going to hide the presets so we can see both. And let's see, make sure everything is good. Are there any questions? Let me pop up the chat for a second because I haven't been paying attention. What is the update on that one synth that last year you talked about to the owner designer about, and he's still working on it? Let's see. I can't remember, Biggie, what that was. There's Wave Razor, which keeps coming along. One cool thing, I didn't pop this into, let me see. Let me see if I call this up, it's gonna go, let's see, where is it at? I think it pops up over here. Can I get this in a separate window? Yeah, okay, so I can do it this way. So one thing, this is kind of a cool development. The guys at Media Overkill that do Wave Razor are pairing up with 1010 Music, who's a modular monster company as far as they do some really amazing sampling that's got a touch screen that you can touch. They're doing a version of Wave Razor oscillator as a modular synth, which is going to be just insane. So Taiho and his DSP genius guru partner, Rob Rampley, they come from the Alesis days, but they're working on bringing this out as hardware, which is fun. It's fun to see people jumping from starting something in the digital world and bringing it into something physically that is a hardware-based thing. Maybe at some point, who knows, maybe Spectrasonics and other companies can do that too, because that was really exciting. Here's a couple other photos I can share of stuff that was fun. Let's see here as we go down the list. yeah, I didn't take that many pictures of gear. I kept getting stopped by people along the way, and so I just kept talking to people instead of like focusing on all the gear that was going on. And if I did, it was like for hardware or something like that. Yeah, I guess that's about the best of the photos. I also do a thing each year where I do portraits. So like this is my portrait for Kurt Otter. And what I love, I've got this camera that's got eye focus, and so the quality of the photos is just stunning. Here's Kurt Schrader. I did a nice portrait of him. So I'll be putting this up. Maybe I'll post a link when I get the gallery done for all of these. Here's I think I got this one of Jordan. Yeah, here's Jordy. So just fun stuff. That's what I'm into. If you look at my NAMM feed, it's pictures of people. Look at this is my NAMM feed of all the photos I took, and it's portraits of people. You know, it's not portraits of gear because I could care less in some respects. So here we are at the panel talking, and Melanie took these. You can see Oscar was asking the questions, and then we were sitting there and sharing our answers. It's really fun. So anyway, let me play some more sounds from Bolt. I'll try to get back on focus here, but you'll notice some of these are sounds that are different. And you know, it's not like if you put this up against Serum, it's like, oh, Serum's gonna slay it as far as like the brightness in your face thing. But this has a really cool, unique, different personality. I think it's only $100. So it's in the price range that, as you can see, you have EQ, chorus, delay, reverb. I really loved, where is it? This one, this. This really was like, okay, that's cool. You could get the envelopes to be a little faster. It comes with 500 presets, and they're organized by different categories. You can go to the sequence if you want to hear some of the... And again, there's no filter. If you want to get things brighter, you go to harmonics. It's using harmonic synthesis, they call it. You can click here to see two different views. This looks just like Razor, right? And look at all the harmonics. So it sounds different than other synths. I have hundreds of synths, right? This was unique enough that I'm like, hey. So if we go here, they have a default, which will call up. Let me turn off oscillator 2, oscillator 1. So here is the harmonics and roll off. And between that and these three buttons and then your FM and XM, that's kind of your oscillator shaping. If you say odd, now you have a square. If you invert it, your main tone can go away. On top of this, there's noise. And the harmonics affects the noise in an interesting way. There's a sub-os. If you want, you have unison down here at the bottom. And then you can shape this for volume. And then this is for your envelope for controlling things. So if I bring the harmonic 1, this is like your filter EG. So between these, and that's 1 os. And then this could be like that while and then if you turn on chorus, turn on reverb, it's a different sound. So I thought it was worth at least taking some time to share with you. A new synth. I kind of wish they had a harmonics master knob that could change both. Well, this is only oscillator 1 anyhow. Oh, I didn't show you this. Let me show you this. If we go back to default, over here is FM. And XM. Just to give you some other things it's doing to the sound. So you can see the waveform, you can go all sorts of places. Invert it. So they have lots of pads, tutorials, waves. If you just want to get to the simplest waves, they have so by setting it up this way, deep, oh, because they have harmonic modulated here so strong, everyone ganged up. Oh, interesting. Check that out. So it's multiplying. They need to make a mod source that's able to go +4 all by itself. Because to use all 4 modulation sources to get there, that's interesting. Well, it can do it. Same for the square wave and sine wave. So you've got. So anyway, Bolt. Definitely worth taking a look. I really enjoyed some of the pads were really nice. It's like I think under 10 megabytes. There's no samples. This is strictly synthesis, not even wavetables. So I thought it was interesting, and I like to share new things that come my way with you guys. So let's see, is Cherry voltage modulator. Can you change the white noise to a wide pad or a choir? Where did I get the virtual keyboard? This is the plugin guru's first software. This is Show MIDI. This is a free piece of software from the Plugin Guru website. You need to be registered. It's no cost, but you need to be registered. To find it, all you have to do is go Plugin Guru and then scroll down here, hit software, and then here are the two. There's two free pieces of software we have created to support our libraries for free for our customers. So Show MIDI being the first one, which is the little free keyboard you see here so you can see what I'm playing, because so many things don't have a keyboard. And now, if I hit the sustain pedal, it's a different color. And no, you can't change the colors. Over here, you have the ability to show up to 4 different MIDI CC inputs that you can right click and change. The other piece of free software that we have created is called ModMate, and that's right here. And what this does is really fun. We could take, let's find a patch, maybe a cool pad. And I'm looking at Aftertouch. Here's Aftertouch, right? Oh, it's not doing much. So I have Aftertouch now enabled. Let's have it do pitch 1 and 2. And when you're trying to play with Aftertouch on your keyboard, it's really hard to use. So a lot of times what I'll do is I would turn off Aftertouch, say 0, and record in a part, you know.
2.6.
Oh. Hold on a second, it's playing the movie. Let's say mute that. Oh wait, it's got what I played already. I just want to show you just an example because it's kind of fun. Because you can record. Okay, so I have just a fun little idea. Now let's turn on Aftertouch. So it goes way up, right? Let's use ModMate to have MIDI CC1 send Aftertouch. So I can automate this. I could go. Okay, so oh, you didn't record it. Whoops. Let's see. Let me go to a new track. It should record it. Maybe if I set this to automation, is this considered an automation thing? Huh. I was supposed to be able to record it right there, but it didn't seem to do it for me. But you have Aftertouch as a separate control to work with. I don't know why I didn't record it. Interesting. Shane, we have to look at that. I thought I'd tested that and it worked, but it didn't work just now. Anyway, Aftertouch is a separate parameter in ModMate you could send out, and we also use it on Omnisphere for when we're controlling the big these. I can set all of those controllers to the mod wheel. So those are the 2 free pieces of software that we have. Yeah. Use mod wheel. Oh. Wait, is it that simple that I forgot? Okay, yeah. So if I go over here, turn this off. I was using this controller, but I have to use the actual physical controller, right? I thought I could see it from the, let's see here. So if I go, I'll just record it. There. Now playback. Hello. Yeah, of course. It was my fault. It can do it. Anyway, it can do it. It's my fault. You need to send it the MIDI CC, play the MIDI CC that you were wanting to record, and then it can record it. I was using this interface, but I thought that would do it too. But anyway, it works. So yay. Any questions? It works. Oh, I see. Okay, Logic records the MIDI that comes in, which in this case was set to the mod wheel. Yeah. Make sure you look at the Soft Tube modular. We'd spent some time looking at that. They did some really nice things there. Soft Tube did a really nice job with their modular software instrument. I need to look at adding that to the studio here and working with it some, because it was very nice. Any other questions? We're going to start jamming along with a song here at this point, I'm thinking. And we'll incorporate a little bolt into it. We'll use some Beautifully Broken. I was doing this. I'll use that idea. Now, couple ideas when doing sequencing with these multis that have been created that have all this different stuff happening. Sometimes I find it easy to simplify them a little bit. Go to Live and turn off Latch. So as you can see, I'm now playing the keys when I want to play the groove. And I let up when I want it to stop. It's a lot easier than counting on the sequencer. Always remember, because it's a note on to start. When you turn on Latch, it's a note on to start. It's a note off to stop. And sometimes that gets a little bit challenging timing-wise. It'll get stuck where you turn it off and it just got a note on and now it's playing and it doesn't shut off. So in some cases, I turn off Latch. And maybe do it as a separate pass even. So let's do this. Let's use Logic. Let's get Logic over here. Let me get a display version that shows just the interface so that we've got all this room to work with, and make sure that this is showing everything here, right? So we got that to that, and that to that, to that. Okay, so I'm going to go to Utility to my view. I'm going to set it to a little bit smaller size. I'm going to delete the movie. Let's see. This was a movie. So we go up here to File, Movie, remove the movie. Wait. Movie, remove. Oh, but it didn't delete the audio. So let's just delete the audio as well. So this is Omnisphere. So let's call it Omnisphere Beautifully Broken. And I'm going to go over here ahead of time and set this to channel 1. I think it could be set stay at all. I think I'll have another Omnisphere come into the picture if I want to add more to this. And then this is Bolt. And so we'll add Bolt to the mix. And I think I'm going to go old school. Let's see, you can't see everything that's going on. I'm developing for some companies, so let's keep things on the down low. I think I want to use Massive because I still like Massive very much. Let's see here. Please don't crash. Thank you. So we'll have Massive in the picture. And let's have another synth that we love very much from Extra Records, Serum. Gotta have some Serum going on. So with these guys, let's see. Let's go to, I love Kamoji. This was such a fun library that we did with with the graphic art designer. He made these really cool, all sorts of I also worked with Sebastian Weaver on this. So let's record a sequence with this. So we'll get Logic over here so we can see it again. Just hit record. That for a start. I'm going to do a fun little shortcut. Let's combine that to Omnisphere real quick. And you know what? I am going to break it out. So this is what I was hoping I would do. I never know what I'm going to do when I'm doing these things. Just so you know, this is totally just off the cuff, having fun. So let's get this to be a little bit bigger. I am going to break this out into multiple MIDI channels so that I can have just this synth sound, Hello Ontario, play that whole part, top and bottom. Because right now, this track, Lost in Ontario, is bass. If you see the stack layout, see up here, here's the Hello Ontario and the bass. And down here is the drums. So I want these to be separate. So I'm gonna turn off stack, and all of a sudden, just the drum loop shows up. That's because it's the first thing to show up in the mixer, so it's MIDI channel 1, 2, and 3. So let's do this. Let's keep it that way. We're not gonna get too carried away and make this too complex for you to understand. So what we do is, instead of all for the MIDI channel, we set this to 1. And then if you go to your track, there's this thing that says other, and you can say new track with next MIDI channel setting. And let's just do that. And there's a key command to do that automatically. So I've got it set up. So I'm going to take this and now move it to 3. And if I solo this, so now it's just playing that. And let's do this. Let's see what happens on the mod wheel. And the mod wheel here. It goes pretty radical. So I'm gonna make a new track of the same MIDI channel. If you hold down Control, Shift, and Return, and I just want to record MIDI data here for the mod wheel. So let's see if I get up over here and I say add this. So you can see, let me shrink this to be smaller. Click there. have this in the corner so you can see what I'm doing. I'm sequencing, so I'm not playing notes. This is strictly a track pass. Right? So we got some fun stuff. I'm gonna do the same down here. So I have another track for MIDI data on the harp, and I can do different things here. I'm just trying to get the harp brightness. So you can see, you can get... Okay. So we now have our idea started. We want to go to the bass. And this is a case where you might want to go at this point and do some volume adjustments. One nice thing in most of these sequencers is you can go over here and select them all and bring them all down the same amount to give yourself some headroom. I'm going to have Omnisphere a little bit louder. And then what I'm going to do is let's break Omnisphere out to multiple outputs, because I want to have this bass being on its own channel, being cranked as loud as I want it to be. So I go to Omnisphere and I click and I say, I want you to be multi-bit outputs. And just like this, it will switch it so that instead of just stereo outs, boom, it's the same sounds, but I can go to the bass now. And if I go to the multi, right here, your output assignments, I'm gonna say output B. And it's gonna sound the same until you hit the little plus. And now the bass is on its own channel. So I can play the... If I was counting on the bass sticking over here in the normal A channel with everything else with Hello Ontario and stuff, you'll notice let me change it now. Hear how it sounds more solid? There's something with these DAWs where, just like an old school mixer, sending things to their own separate outputs gives things more space. It's not having to break down the pad sound and all that stuff and the bass that just makes them. And let's have the drums on its own output. So we go over here and we add one more. So when I go to MIDI channel 1, okay, so let's add the bass part. And so here we go. Okay, so I wanted to do like two patterns. I wanted to have a more like kind of off the downbeat pattern. Right? Okay, first off, I want these drums to hit harder. They're on their own output, so I happen to know that the compressor built into Logic is just shrewd when it comes to if I wanted to, I could do something with a transient designer on top of that. That sounds pretty good, so. Actually, wait. Ha 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 ha. Let's mix it up. I'm going to add something new on channel 4. I want to go to Percussa. Let's see here. Percussa has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of really cool low, mid, and high. I want to go for something in the high frequency. So I need to go over here to MIDI channel 4. Hello. Why aren't you playing? Oh, this might be one of these where, yeah. Every now and then you'll come across these where it's hidden and it's panned. And that's cool. I want to add something fun to this. This is layer B. Notice B is the only one that is on. So if you go and want to add an effect, don't add it to A, C, or D. You won't hear it. Go to B. Let's add a radio delay. And I want to... And then I want to freak this out. So I'm going to go creative. So I've taken a simple hi-hat, added a delay, and then after that added interspace, which is really unique. It's like convolution reverbs, but they're like samples that are cool and unique. So and you can go to the EQ. They've gotten rid of like the main fundamental frequencies. So let's add that. Now it seems to be delayed when it's starting. So let's go over here and look at, oh, you know what? I think because it's arpeggio, it's on the up. It's on upbeats. So I'm going to have it on downbeat too. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can play it. And you hear my computer starting to freak out? Okay. The reason my computer's freaking out is because I'm doing a lot of stuff with Omnisphere in one Omnisphere. And this happens often, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything else with this. Well, I'll show you a cool trick. If we wanted to, you can take Omnisphere and go up here to your DAW, and most of them have a copy paste. Copy this, then quickly go over here and double click to add a new instrument and add a new Omnisphere. And you can say paste, and boom. There is a duplicate of the exact same setup, but it's a separate Omnisphere. And the advantage of this is this. Basically, Omnisphere only is taking up one processor. But if you open up another Omnisphere, it's taking up a different processor. So you can take this and now you can share duties. So let's go over here and let's say 1. And I'm going to do the same things as the other one. I'm going to say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to say, let's take, oh, I want it to be multi-output. So I go multi-output. And I could go over here and go to that Omnisphere and click and click. Gives one more just for fun. So I've made multiple outputs to support the outputs in case I decide to move stuff around. So let's do this. Let's move that sound because it's using interspace down here to channel 4. Now let's move on the Hello Ontario, right here. Let's also move this down here. So I've given shared duties to everything so that there's only the bass is now playing on that first omnisphere, while as the other two sounds are on a separate omnisphere. And all of a sudden, my computer should be a lot happier. Let's turn that down. Let's see, on this 3. Oh, that's the MIDI data, right? So we need to get one more of 3. Turn off solo and I gotta find out where I put the notes. Oh, you know what I can do? I'll just copy this back here. Oh, 3 is output A. I should be able to hear that. Oh. Okay. Sorry. Oh, here it is. That's right. It was the mechanized harp. So that means delete this and move this down here. There. Now. Okay. Now I'm here because I copied that part that I played here. So basically I now have 2 omnispheres. This omnisphere and this omnisphere are both being played, but they're sharing duties so that multiple processors are being used. That lets these be used. See all these just sitting here doing nothing? Because of the way these silly things work, it's not using all of these processors, which is your computer's just sitting there, you know, it's like trying to drive on one tire. So by doing things like this, you can expand Omnisphere, give it multiple instances of Omnisphere. Now you've got more processing power because it's involving those other those computer processors are just sitting there in your computer, right? So it's a concept to think about and get used to, but yeah, so let's go to the drums. I wanted to start like this, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to go here to the drums, and I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to say modulate you with the wheel so that you go in the opposite direction to get soft. So as I bring... Whoa. Find out if there's somewhere else that is cranking in volume. What am I got going on here? Show. Oh. Let's have that also inverted. You know what? Silly me. This is the one thing you got to watch out for. I'm on the wrong omnisphere. Okay, so make that go away and go up here. The way to know that you're on the right omnisphere is to click this one, obviously, and then go over here. We could go to the effects and to this same controller, show, and just bring it down even farther. And let's bring this down. Let's do that with a foot controller too. So let's say foot controller, invert. There. I just want to be able to get to whisper. Cool. Okay, so that my goal was it wasn't getting soft enough. I could have automated volume, but I wanted this to be a live real-time thing that I do with this. So that is set. So, oh, you didn't see all of that because this needs to be over here a little more. Sorry about that. Let's make this a little bit smaller. There. So I basically was modulating sources so that when I move the all these controllers, it'll get soft, okay? So I'm gonna hit this and the K so I get the click. Come over here. 1, 2. So you can see how you can automate so that's fun. And then if I wanted to on top of this, let's add something else for an idea. Double click to add a new instrument. Let's say, oh, we were going to do stuff with massive, right? So we got massive here. Hello, Massive, where are you? There you are. Go to the browser, down here to Massive Volume 1. By the way, this is one of the libraries that's on sale through the rest of today. That's kind of cool, so let's try that. And I'm gonna go over here and say latch. Let's see, my volume seems soft because it is soft, so let's go like that. Play Bolt for a second. Getting kind of messy over here. Let's have that just repeat itself maybe after 8. Yeah, I think. And instead of that note, I actually wanted to play a different note. So let's, if you want, you can hit the P button to see the piano roll. Doom. So I can play this. And then I want to support that with the bass. So let's change the bass notes, which are up here. Oh, it's not playing because I'm not selecting it, so. Get rid of that. That's better. 3. And let's get rid of these. really short. There we go. So you can, it's fun. Once you play something in, remember you can go back and edit it and modify it to match stuff you decide to change to work with. So it's not what it necessarily needs. What it was is not what it will be in the end, right? Let's look at their leads over here real quick. I'm sure there's something in. Cool. But they have pitch on the mod wheel. LFO 2 intensity. Wow. And then go to, which means I want to get to I'll just do it manually because it's not working the way I expect. So you heard this is kind of nice. Maybe I'd put some sort of nice delay on this. Sound Toys has a really nice little Echo Boy. Less feedback. All right, so. You get the idea. So I just wanted to do, I haven't had this long enough to figure out the modulation routings, how to get the mod wheel LFO1 intensity. That should work with the mod wheel to bring up hear how it's like this, right? As soon as you do that, it breaks it, so it's not doing it. And now that should be doing, but maybe it's a bug. They just released this, I believe, so there's maybe some stuff to do to fix it. Anyway, nice sound. So here's our little idea. All right. So we have a fun little idea. Hopefully this gave you some ideas. The idea of making parts. Now look at our processor sharing. Each plugin is doing separate things. So still have a lot just sit. I'm shocked that they haven't figured out how to just multi-processor capable the entire DAW system. So it uses all of your computer. Because, I mean, half of my computer sitting here not doing anything, right? but I've shared the load so that it's not killing it. Okay. So hopefully this helped you guys. Are there any questions? You have ModMate on that track, John. Oh, I do? On Bold? Oh, maybe that's... Oh, maybe that's what's going on. Okay, so let's see here. If I... I did have. That's what it is. So it does work as expected. Good old ModMate I had set up, I guess, and had it rerouting it to Aftertouch. Okay. Silly me. If I would have turned this off, let's see, if you turn this on, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's rerouting to Aftertouch. If I change this back to modulation source. Okay, it's not Bolt, it was me. Thank you, Shane. So now I could have performed it and had it work right. Okay. Thank you. So that fixed it. So yeah, ModMate was rerouting like it's supposed to. It was rerouting to Aftertouch, and we've changed it back to so that in of one is out as one. So silly, silly me. So hopefully that gives you some ideas, some fun we had. I'm going to save this so I can turn this into a full-fledged demo before the week is up. Okay, add a voker into this. Yeah, we could do that. What is your next library coming out and when? I'm not announcing anything today. When I have something to announce, I will announce. But I just got back from the NAMM show, and there's lots going on, so gotta get some things together and see where we're at, but there's nothing to announce coming at this point. Just Beautifully Broken. I mean, this will be, I'm going to do probably something, we'll do a love song next week. Since we're heading towards Valentine's Day, this is the Valentine's Day library. Broken hearts and happy hearts and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm going to check out of here for this live stream. Let's do a shout out. Shout out from Portland, Oregon. So good to see all of you. Be well, prosperous. Do you think it's worth it to get a hardware synth? You know, it's fun to have hardware for sure. I have all sorts of hardware synthesizers around me. And sometimes I use them. A lot of times I don't. It's so much easier in software to get ideas out. It depends on your goals, what you want to do. I think in live, it's fun to play in front of hardware instead of a synth software computer situation. Ontario, Canada, right on. That's funny because I grew up in Ontario, Oregon, but I didn't know that, Shane. I didn't realize it was Ontario in Canada. Yeah, well, I knew there was Ontario, Canada. I didn't know you lived there. Shout out from Romania. Right on, Caitlin. Catalin? I'm saying your name wrong. I'm sorry. Ken and Nicaragua. Right on. Albany, New York. Hampton. If you guys have ideas for live streams, send me some requests. I want to make sure that we're doing stuff that's fun. Yeah. NAMM is about the people. The products change. Every year it's different. Those people that show up every year is really what the show is about for so many of us. You go, you see your friends, you update on what you're doing. That's what makes NAMM special. Is it's kind of a watering hole. We all get together, see what everybody's been working on for the year, You know, what are we going to work harder on for the next year? Stuff like that. Catalin, great. Awesome. I'm glad I got it right. Yeah. Yeah, Junkie XL has a lot going on in Cubase. There's no doubt about it. Good. I'm glad you guys are learning. Right on. In Chichester, England. I love just saying all the different names. It's awesome. Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. Right on, Tinker. Thinker. Tinker. Oh, you guys are awesome. Had a great time. Good hang. Looking through the list. The only news on Massive X that I saw was that it's coming now, I believe, in June. Love all your RMX videos. Oh, yes, those are helpful for a lot of people. I'm glad it helps you out. Ah, that's one cool thing with VST3s. Okay, Steven, good to see you, fellow Oregonian. All right, we're out of here. Everybody's dropping like flies, so I will go too. See you next week. We'll find some fun stuff to do. And again, if you have ideas or requests, I think we might start doing some things where we look at how certain effects are done, how things are done in a track, and then recreating those with programming. We'll go in and actually make the effects and so forth. I've done that in the past, and it's really fun. So something like that's an idea, but we'll figure it out. All right, be well. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining. You guys are like family, so it's good to hang. So see you later.